I watched I watched this city council, Lake Worth Beach, Florida, or something, where brother really called these crackers out. I guess this lady that was the head of the city council over down there didn't do her job, and the guy was calling her out that here these people are probably making their last check for a while, and you made them pay that money to us in the middle of a pandemic. See, I'm I'm starting to understand more and more why you have riots. You know, white folks always want to make it about black people doing drugs and black people committing crimes and black people being irresponsible. But I'm starting to realize more and more that you've got white people that just don't care. Yeah, I'm starting to realize in the South, you've got these redneck white people that really don't care. I mean that seriously. Let's talk. They don't care. They don't care that some people are living paycheck to paycheck and they just spent their last check. And she's like, point of order. And he's like, you know what I mean? And she's like, you're disrespectful. No, bitch. She's doing what Trump does. That's what they do. They don't do anything. They act unethically. But then they demand your respect when it's found out, when they're exposed. Right? And so when you call them out, you're disrespectful. And on the video, she actually went on first. She said she called him something for State House. That because he cares about the community, he should go and be in the State House. Wow. Yo, that's crazy, man. Like, I would be offended if you called me out on something, because I care. I care about my community. I would care about my community. And her response was to make a joke about it. See, that's how Trump supporters think. It's all a big game. It's all a big joke. Ha, 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 he, he. And then when someone calls them out, you're being disrespectful. You should be arrested. You should be abused. You should be beaten. You should be thrown in jail for talking about those things that are being done, beaten and stuff like that. Isn't that crazy? And, I think this pandemic, and people will say, well, we never had any kind of situation close to this. I think this will really show you how rednecks think, because it hadn't really hit the South yet. The way it's going to, the way I think it's coming. You haven't really been hit yet. We haven't really been hit yet. I think that this is going to speed up that 2040 thing a lot sooner. A lot sooner. Because it's going to show rednecks what they always were. They don't care, man. They don't care about their communities. They tell you, they're out there having kids and doing drugs, but really they don't care. They don't give a fuck about us. Fuck you, nigga. Well, fuck you. And how you go out here and you run from the police, you deserve to get shot in the back 15 times. That's right. Fuck you, nigga. That's how they think. That's how they think. And they get you little excuses, and they'll say little things to make our lives have less value than theirs. They'll say little things here, and he had some weed in his system. They'll do that. But when it comes down to it, they don't care about the working class, the working man. They don't. And I think that if rednecks start dying, and blacks will too, but if these crackers start dying, and just like with Trump, they now know he had intelligence briefings back in January telling them about a pandemic, did nothing about it. And just like this meeting here where the dude called her out, I think you're going to have a big progressive backlash. I mean, I thought it'd be big with the election, with Trump not being reelected. But I think now that whether Trump gets reelected or not, a lot of people are going to die in this country because of his incompetence. And a lot of people in the South are going to die because of incompetence, because of arrogance, and because of racism. This is one of those things where systematic racism really hurts everybody. I mean, I look at that woman, I'm just like, she must want him to bop her in her fucking nose. Just this sneering, point of order, you're disrespectful, and this sneering arrogance of what's he say? Time ready for State House. Like, wow. That's how Trump is. They don't use these examples when they're called out to say, no, you're wrong because of this, that, and that. They don't do that. It's all this jokey, snarky, arrogant, big-headed, this candy pants stuff. I'm on top and you're just over there. You need to get in your place. How dare you? You're disrespectful. It's a nasty question. Instead of being a public official, standing up, getting your back straight, and answering the questions that are put forward to you, using those questions as an opportunity to put forward your policy and your intent. That's how I was raised. You don't run from questions. You don't hide. You stand up. And when Trump does that, cussing people, and that's really nasty. That's hiding. Okay, that's hiding. Like when that lady said it, she closed the meeting. That's hiding. That's being a bitch. That's being scared. I mean, JFK spoke about it that he could not stifle the questions put forward by the press. He welcomed it. He was telling us without criticism, no administration can succeed and no republic can survive. That's why the Athenian lawmakers sold and decreed a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. That's what I'm talking about. And that's how all of us should live. You don't run from your problems. And he wasn't disrespectful. That guy, I think this next year or two, you're going to have a lot more Tom Hardys. A lot more. Because there's a realization for blacks and for other groups. These crackers don't care. They don't. They don't care about no goddamn pandemic. So what, bitch? You pay the money or I turn your lights out. That's right. Fuck if it's a pandemic. I don't care if Trump declared national state of emergency. Fuck it. And fuck you. That's how they think. That's how they think. I've said it before that the South is like 20 years behind everything else. This pandemic is going to prove it. You don't have to believe me. This pandemic will prove that to you. The South is behind on everything. And the South is proud to be backwards. You're free. You're free to be poor. You're free to be impoverished. You're free to have substandard health care. That's what you're free to have in the South. You're free to deal with infestations and parasites that should have been done away with 100 years ago. This is what the South is. You're free. You're free. You're free to have nothing. You're free to be poor, and you're free to live like the Flintstones. That's the South. And that's Southern culture. I don't know about all this Christian charity shit, because being out here on the road, I learned that there's no Christian charity out here. It doesn't exist. You know what the South is? Like I said, the South is a bunch of backwards ass crackers with ideas of things 100 years ago that don't exist. Didn't exist then for them. Don't exist now for us. It won't exist 20 years now for their children. And they're angry because they're realizing it themselves. I'll leave it right there.